What's good, world? It's your boy Dre, Samurai Kennel. And today's episode, we're going to be covering a lot of different topics. One of the first topics that I want to make sure that I cover tonight is going to be specifically the ins and outs of the Digital Dog Show. Because between now and next Friday is your opportunity to get into the Digital Dog Show. Then we're going to talk about some basic Samurai Kennel's philosophies and move on. But before we do any of that, got to pay them sponsors with the title.
Please forgive. Too many mind.
Too many mind?
Mind the school. Mind the people.
Let him go, Andre.
Mind the enemy. Too many mind.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to another Wednesday Sip and Chill with Samurai Kennels. And I have my big bro, Big A and Pilot in the building. Big A, go and holler at the people.
Hey, what's happening, man? I'm back in here like I left my keys and wallet, man. You know what it is, man. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the panel. Man, it's all love.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, Mr. Biggs, welcome to the chat, bro. And I appreciate your constant support, my brother. Thank you for all you have been doing for us. And best wishes in this Digital Dog Show. Additionally, shout out to Brother Tony M. Brother Tony M, I be seeing you in all the right places and all the right chats, man. Big salute, Tony M. Also, man, that Brother Tony M got that hardware, y'all, for the membership. And I was having some difficulties last week, man. But what I did was I went and in the description, I posted a link to join with the channel memberships for those of y'all who are interested in joining with a channel membership. Members, I don't expect no super chats and that stuff from y'all. You already done your part and showed your fervent belief in us, man. Thank you so much. To my wife, who's a constant supporter, shouts out to Mrs. Williams. I love you, babe. Welcome to the show. Absolutely, absolutely, y'all. We got a couple of y'all in here, man. I'm gonna wait till we get give it a minute or two for people to get in the chat. But we're gonna be going over the Digital Dog Show, some of the ins and outs of the Digital Dog Show, best practices, and some last minute tweaks for any of y'all who want to make any adjustments or anything like that, as well as giving y'all some feedback on just some different topics, things I've noticed and perspective on, and the way that Samurai has experienced things this week, man. Shout out to the brother Vinny in the building. So big salute, Vinny. Hey, bro, I hit you up on Facebook, but you got my number, man. If you want to, you can hit me up after the live, and we can jump in the back chat, or I can call you tomorrow, bro. But I see you, and I ain't forgot about you, big dog. Big salute to my brother Vinny. That's enough. Word list with the one. Respect you, my brother. Big respect to you. Shouts out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big A, you got any shout outs you need to hit anybody off with?
Man, to the chat, especially to the fam, you know, big shout out to the fam, man. You know, and especially all the channels that keep it going, man. That you know, keep the motivation going, the food to feed the drive, you know. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. Hey, so for those of y'all who are here and for those of y'all who are going to be currently watching, we're going to get this thing kicked on right on off about the Digital Dog Show. And I want to speak very, very calm and assertively about the Digital Dog Show. I ain't got no negative response for any of y'all or anything like that, but I wanted to clear up some things. My initial request was that for people to make submissions through the WhatsApp or via YouTube. But what's been working is Instagram, Facebook, and all of the things in between there. Now, a couple of things I want to clarify for any of y'all who are late getting in there, but want to get in there is the required information for our submission. Big shouts out to Canon G. Big salute, my brother. Big shouts out to Mrs. Williams. Big salute to you. And a special shout out to the great Schoolboy. Big shouts out to you as well, Schoolboy. And Schoolboy, if you're available, if you throw a thumbs up in there, I wanted to try something a little different tonight, man. But if you're available tonight to hop on at some point, give us a thumbs up and I'll get you the link because I wanted to try something a little different tonight on the show when we come to that point. But what I wanted to discuss right now is the actual format that people have been having an issue with. Maybe I didn't articulate it well, so I was just going to say it out loud for those y'all on the playback. And I typically try to get out like pertinent information like that in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the show. All right, so the first thing you're going to need for any of the points awarding classes is a frontal picture of the dog. What I've been seeing that works best is when you actually do like a show stack, head up, H frame in the front, and typically you want a helper to take the picture. Then you want a side shot, also show stack to the best of your ability, as well as a video of the dog walking. It can be a down and back or a sideways trot. What I'm looking for is the gait or how the dog moves naturally. If the dog is pulling, that's fine. I personally prefer to see like a dog being a pit bull, unless it's healing or something like that, man. I like to see them being a bulldog. All right. And that clip can be anywhere from 10 seconds to 1 minute, but it will not exceed a minute. Any video or photos that exceed the 1 minute mark of your video are going to be cut off because I have it set up for 1 minute time slots. All right. So you need a frontal picture, a side shot, and a video and action shot of the dog. I also highly, highly, highly encourage you to get a video of your dog doing something. I don't know if it's pulling a weight or working a meal or a spring pole or a flirt pole, but that's gonna boost your votes because people love to see a working dog. That's why the Malinois gets so much love. And that's what I'm trying to do with the American Pit Bull Terrier with that digital dog show, because people from Indonesia, the UK, all over the world can enter. Mexico, Puerto Rico, anywhere where there's bulldogs, people can enter this dog show. And it gives them a chance to show off how each country does it. And I'm not going to say one country does it better than another, but that's a great opportunity to get in there. Now, once you have your video for entry, there's a format that needs to be submitted as well. And that format is this. You're going to want your name or your kennel's name. All right? Your name or your kennel's name or whatever name you're going to use, whatever alias you want to use to be represented. I'm not being picky about that at all. All right, salute Supreme Excellence One. Welcome to the chat. I'm not picky about that at all. Okay. Then you need to have the dog's name or the call name for that dog. As of right now, I haven't had any issues with any double ups or anything like that. But because you have your kennel name or a representative name and the dog's name, you'll know exactly who wins when we announce the winners. All right. Then this is an optional line of information, but it's highly encouraged for those of y'all who are trying to link with other people who have similar blood or to get some good, strong outs. And that is listing the bloodline of the actual dog. Now, mind you, the bloodlines should be listed based on what you know, and that's typically verified based on a registry. That doesn't make it right or wrong. And I'm not saying it makes it right or wrong. I just want everybody who is going to get involved to know exactly what my expectation is, the general expectation. All right. This is a new thing we're building up, and we're working out the kinks moving into the future, because this is going to become something that's semi-annual. All right. All right. So after you have your name, your dog's name, and the bloodline, we're going to want the age and the sex of the dog. All right. The age and the sex of the dog. Now, this is important because puppies 0 to 6 months have their own class. Puppies 7 to 12 months have their own class. For points awarding shows, that is. Females above the age of 12 months have their own class, and males above 12 months have their own class. Those are the 4 classes that I have right now. Eventually, we'll become more structured, and we'll have the 6 month increments, just like the other big shows have. But for right now, just for control and being able to management purposes, we have just those 4 classes: best male, best female, best puppy above 6 months to 12 months, and best puppy under 6 months old. All right. And for those, you need your name, dog's name, bloodline, if you choose to put it in there, age, sex, and then finally list the types of competitions that you want that dog to enter based upon the videos you submitted. Now, keep in mind that a dog can be entered into multiple videos, and if you have multiple candidates, that you can enter as many candidates as you want. This show is free. All right, so I highly encourage you. I have one competitor that's submitted 4 dogs already. All right, so he's trying to touch every single class that he can touch to give himself the most probability of getting a win. Right, that's perfectly fine. That the same thing goes on at real dog shows. People transport and take as many dogs as they can to the show. Mom Dukes, welcome to the chat. Sis, welcome to the chat. Junior, welcome to the chat. Much love to all of you. All right, so we would need your video submission as well as the information I just requested to get a submission. Once you submitted all that information, what will occur is I'll text you back or email you back, whatever method you send it to me on, the numbers. And the numbers will be listed in the top right-hand corner of your screen on the day of the Digital Dog Show. None of your information will be put out to the public, just the number that I sent you. All right. So only you and myself will know that number of your dog. And I'm using that. It's very similar to when if you go out to a real show ring, typically there's a band they'll put on your arm, and that band will have a number, sometimes 1 digit, sometimes 3 or 4 digits number to help you represent or for the judge to pick out a number. They don't care about the person. They're just using a number to pick the number in the dog. And that's kind of the logic behind why we set it up this way. Party Boy Woods, welcome to the chat. Another Samurai Elite member. Big ups to you, my brother. Thank you so much for coming through and rocking with us. All right. So we've gotten your entry, your video, and how it's going to be judged. Side, front page, frame, motion video. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Also, brother Schoolboy, I'm going to kick this link over to you because what I would like is I'll message you on Facebook, Schoolboy, and give you the details of what I would like. But it's thank you for rocking with us, Schoolboy. We much appreciation to you. The last thing I wanted to give y'all was I wanted to show y'all some clips from the last video and critique them with you, so that you can we can kind of talk about it. And those of y'all who are here or those of y'all who are watching on the replay can go back and critique it, and we can talk about it together. Yeah, man. And Canon G, the H-frame image is not required. I just think it's the most appropriate angle to show the dog in, personally. All right, but yeah. So that's that. Brother Big A, you got anything while I'm pulling up the videos?
Can they when you were talking about putting their bloodline on there, can they just slap a link to online pads on there?
Yes, they absolutely can, bro. They absolutely can,
Okay.
man. It's I've had some people actually include their pedigree in the video, and I edited it out because like I said, man, well, time, and also just I don't want people's business out there on the internet like that. I'm not gonna be responsible for nobody's business being leaked like that, personally.
Right.
So
right.
That's my stance on that. But absolutely, bro.
Okay. I didn't have anything else.
All right. Now, what I've been seeing is I've been seeing a lot of great guys put in their dogs, and they haven't been double and triple tapping. Honestly, if I had if I was entering Saki in the show, I would go for best male, best condition, best buckskin. You know, like I would go for every class I could, because there are some classes that are heavily loaded and some classes that are not. There's just almost no contest because there's so few dogs in the specific contest.
And it's free.
It's free. It's free. You know, so you can mess around. Like Gasco took with one dog. He took three different classes last time, and you know, they were all contested classes. You know, and it was like I said, you win by votes, so you don't have to really worry about who Samurai likes or any of that craziness mess. It's all based upon votes, and I did it that way intentionally to ensure that everybody has a fair and equal opportunity to be seen in the best light. But yeah, that's the goal. And I'm getting y'all pardon me real quick. I'm getting with a good brother of mine about a request. Oh, there he is. Hey, schoolboy, welcome to the chat.
Hey, what's happening, schoolboy?
Hopefully.
Yes, sir. Schoolboy, we can hear you now.
Hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me I can't hear you, so let me go out and come back in.
Okay. Right. So what I did want to do is I'm looking for the video of the how to enter the Digital Dog Show so I can answer any questions y'all might have about that, because it's getting into crunch time. So there's this live, there's Sunday's video, and there's one more live between now and then. And I want to make sure that everybody has had more than adequate opportunity to ask anything they got to ask. There's no reason to have any questions going into the show. It's been very transparent, and I just want to make sure everybody's getting a fair shake. A fair shake is all we're looking for y'all. So solo but connected, man. Hey, bro, big supporter, another Shogun level member. Salute to you, my brother. Welcome to the chat. Y'all come on in and chill, ask y'all questions. When Schoolboy gets back in here, man, we're going to kick things off, man, and make sure all y'all have the opportunity to ask some questions directly to Schoolboy. Keep in mind, he answers questions on his channels for small donations. He does this, man. Schoolboy really does this. And I want to support all the brothers who are really giving back to the game, man. Who are really giving back and taking pride in that. We try to stay out of the mess, and y'all know there's a mess of brewing in the dog community. So the fact that he's coming out to support another dog channel is extremely important to us. It's extremely important. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So here we go. And Big A, you there?
Yes, sir. I'm right here with you.
You at work?
Yes, sir. Like always, man. It's like I live here and visit the house, Man. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm just getting this video together right here, man.
Okay.
To go over. It's being super slow right now.
Yeah. So, in the meantime, we were talking about, what it takes to be a dog man or a good pet owner. You want to speak on that a little bit? Oh, here we go.
Yeah. So I was going to talk about the sacrifices, and that's when Schoolboy gets here. The sacrifices of being a dog man. But
Yeah.
I don't want to get too deep into it because I kind of want to transition from the Digital Dog Show to that to make sure that we cover everything. And
Yes, sir.
So what I did want to cover was one of the sacrifices that I've noticed that I've had to personally give up, and this might seem like a small sacrifice to some of y'all, but it's a huge sacrifice, is the ability to walk my dog whenever I feel like it. And this is not nobody stopping me from doing it, but I've noticed that the looks, the attention it gets, I just don't want it. And that's just one of the sacrifices I'm going to cover later on in this video, It's all the sacrifice you make to have these dogs: vacations, money, family time, where you can live, how you can live, who you can be around, who you can trust, who can visit you. Yeah, man. It's a lot of things going on. Big brother Ram, salute to you. Shouts out to brother Ram.
Big shouts out to Brown.
But yeah, man, we gonna talk about the sacrifice, man, because it goes unsaid, and a lot of y'all are just dealing with stuff that maybe you got the answer to my question. This is not me giving out information. This is me talking to y'all on some real shit because I walk my dogs 4 o'clock in the morning, and that shit is time, right? But it's because you got neighbors out here being nosy. You know what I'm saying? My dogs ain't got no tattoos really on them like that, you know. Maybe 1 or 2 from yard accidents, but that's about it. You know, shout out to Mrs. McFarland. Big ups to you, man. And yeah, man, it's that's what we're getting into right there. It's not gonna work for me to share that clip from the previous video. Got this McDonald's Wi-Fi going on tonight, but we're cooking with it. Schoolboy, welcome to the chat.
Hey, sorry about that, guys. I apologize. I don't know. I'm tech stupid, man. I didn't know what happened. But how's everybody doing?
Man, can't call it my spoil it.
There you go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, so Schoolboy, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Hope everybody in the chat's good and the panel's good. Is it Big A?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Got it. Finally. Last time I didn't even know what to say, man. I apologize for that too. That's my whole life apologizing. I get a lot of practice with my wife.
Yeah, I probably need to take notes, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, everything good. Thanks.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
So Schoolboy, I'm coming off the top rope with questions tonight. And one of the first questions I wanted to ask is, so I was watching the movie last night, right? And you know, movies always spark intelligence, right? But anyways, the question I wanted to ask you was, there's a scene in Kill Bill Volume 2 where, and Ram's coming in too. So welcome to the chat, Ram.
Ram, what's up, brother?
What's happening? How y'all doing?
Yes, sir. Making it, man.
Good.
Making it.
Good.
So there's a scene, y'all, where and Ram, this is for you too. I'm gonna let y'all cook on this. In Kill Bill Volume 2, where 2 of the assassins that try to kill the main character, they think they've killed her, and they were talking about retirement, you know, and this kind of applies to Dogman, right? And he says, so after a warrior is done with warring and there's no more war, they're left with one of 2 R's. And it's relief or regret. And I kind of wanted to pose that to you, you know, to you real warriors, that question in relation to the dog.
Gotcha. You want me to go first?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. What is it? Relief and what?
Relief or regret. When it's all over, when you're done with the dogs.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any regrets except how me getting in trouble affected my family. I have that a regret. I got to live with that. They do too. Relief for not being in it. Again, there's that, you know, cloud that can hang over your head. You know, a dog man older than me back in the day, after all this stuff happened, I'm talking years later, you know, and I'm telling him, man, you know, we had fun, you know. He goes, yeah. He goes, you know, Richard, but we were scared all the time, you know, on his part. Meaning you always have that cloud over you, something going to happen. And with him, nothing ever did, you know. But with me, that's a different story. I don't have the relief from that, right? Being, you know, I was never fearful. I was never scared that way. But I understand where he's coming from, because we all had families, you know. But with samurai, you know, there's another thing that they go through which is peace, peace in their mind and their heart, relaxation. A lot of them, if get into calligraphy, art, all that stuff, because they trying to find something to counteract the violence in their lives, And you mentioned something in the last chat or the one before that, their code of honor, their way of doing things, And what you have to do when you go back in history like that, in my opinion, anyways, you have to put yourself in their time, right? How they lived, why they lived the way they lived. So in a case like that, for me, it's hard for me to criticize them for the way they live, because that was normal for the lifestyle from the bottom of the pile all the way to the top, to the shoguns and the emperors and all that. That's how they lived. So my point is, I hope with people that don't agree with what I used to do in the past, that they understand that was the times, that's how I lived, and because honestly, there's a lot of people that own pit bulls. They don't agree with me. They don't even like me. They don't like what I did. I understand it. They didn't live that life. But, if we're going to critique something, then we got to critique everything. Ain't nobody perfect. Everybody does something. So what I like, you may not like, but you may be doing something I don't like. So there's kind of that duality with the samurai, a violent life at times, not all the time. And then you have some peace too. And you take advantage of that. Whether they had families or they had, did art, a lot of them, flowers and all kinds of shit, that they did. And it's just to counterbalance that way of life and that violent side. So that's kind of the way, not that's the way I think, but that's kind of similar to what we went through, if people want to call it a violent way of life. And then you counteract that with your family and good times and all that, nobody gets out of this life just being perfect. It's impossible. So I try and understand how people feel, even if they're against me or they don't like me or whatever, because I know in their life, there's some bullshit in their life too. So whether they recognize it or not, or admit it or not, you know what I mean? We all the same. So I don't know if that answered your question, but that's, I really don't have regrets, other than like what I said, I what my family had to go through, but there's also something else to that, what I'm doing now, it kind of offsets that, kind of turned it around. They can understand, okay, I did what I did. Yeah, it hurt them. They forgive me, if you want to put it that way. But now I'm doing something positive with it. And they like it. And whether they mad at me now or not, they still love them dogs, man.
Yeah.
And my wife still take care of whatever. We got a bunch of damn cats around here. She takes care of them just like she did the dogs, the pups. It's just in her to do that, We don't even like cats. I don't even like cats. And I tell people this, I don't even like cats, but these are my fucking cats. Don't mess with my cats. You know what I mean? It's going to be a problem if somebody tries to run over my cat or steal my cat or whatever. I don't even like them sons of bitches, but they're mine. You know what I mean? Kind of that way. So there's different aspects to it. And like I said, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, because it's a philosophical question. There is no one answer. It's just perspective on it, because I think that in hearing yourself get it out there, it allows you to just exhale some of those things, man. And I appreciate you sharing. And I'm gonna pass it to everybody in the panel as well. So Ram,
all right, yeah,
yeah, it's coming your way, Ram. Relief, regret, or it's just something different?
a little bit of both. We'll start with the regrets. I regret that I didn't fucking make a grand champ. I always wanted a 6-time winner. To me, that's a fail. I feel like I didn't fucking complete my mission. That's always on my mind, even though I've been years and years, out of the dogs like that. That shit still bothered me that I didn't fucking get the grand champ. A lot of champions, that's cool, but I was used to champions. I wanted that grand champ. So that's my main regret. And a secondary regret would be that fucking I can't do it no more. My fucking check knee light came on the other day. So I damn sure know I ain't finna be running no goddamn miles with a dog no more, man. I regret that. Cause I'll be fucking y'all up right now if I was still in the game, I'll be that motherfucker just cause everything came together. I regret that. But the flip side is what was the other one? Regretting what? Relief?
It's relief, yeah. Because like I said, let me give you this backstory. So like I said, it was they were talking about they thought they killed their opponent, so they didn't have anything to do anymore. And
I know I follow.
Oh
I
yeah,
follow.
yeah. So yeah, the relief and the regret.
The relief is fucking I ain't gotta clean up a whole bunch of dog shit no more, man. Buy a whole bunch of damn dog food, like I still kind of overdo it with the dog food just because I'm used to whenever I get extra money, I would buy something for the dogs, so I be having to catch myself. Like I only got 2 dogs, so I don't need a fucking pallet full of dog food or more, and it's also a relief that I ain't in the game no more because there's a lot of telling right now, so that kind of go twofold. It's a lot of sucker shit, a lot of fake dog men running around, just, fucking big balls that don't produce nothing. So that's a relief. I ain't got to deal with that shit because that shit would frustrate the hell out of me, man. So yeah, them is my only 2 for that, bro. I really, other than that, I did it to death. Did what I wanted to do, Unapologetically me. That was the beauty of the dogs. Because they was unapologetically them. They either occur or they fucking not. Ain't no in between.
Absolutely. Hey, so let me go ahead and give a shout out to brother Asiatic Soldier with the $4.99 super chat. Tip. Hey, we appreciate you, big dog. Big A, same question, bro.
Yes, sir. Me personally, it gets deep because it all depends on the mindset of the person. Because I'm real big on military history. I'll sit up there for hours and watch interviews of war veterans and whatnot, and it's all the same. It doesn't matter if you're in the streets. It doesn't matter what it is. You never mentally leave that battle. You know what I'm saying? Like you could go look these 92, 98-year-old World War II veterans got Alzheimer's, can't remember what they just ate, spitting up on themselves. But you ask them anything about that time frame, they'll tell you like it was yesterday. And you know what I'm saying? So I believe it all goes into, the mindset of the warrior or the person going through what they're going through. Because when it comes, like a lot of vets, when they leave the military and they've gone through some real tragic things, even special forces and all of that, the main thing that they tell them is they got to find something else to occupy their time with. So, like Miyamoto, he was an artist, and he was just as cold with the brush as he was with the sword. So, when he would do strokes and with the paintbrush that resembled the same type of strokes he would move with the sword. And if you ever jump into the Book of Five Rings, it has pictures of some of his drawings and whatnot. And just the battle, like not to get too far off the subject, but like the battlefield is always it's a mental warfare game. So when you leave the game, you still have that mental battle. Like Schoolboy, he completely removed from the game. but he still has a hand in the game, because I don't know, but I believe he wakes up thinking about it all the time. He's never been removed. And it's the same thing with a lot of other people. It's just you find something to occupy your time with. If not, you pretty much, you pretty much lost. So, regret and relief, it goes by the individual, and pretty much kind of like, what do you do to remove yourself, or just to continue to because in your mind it's a continuous thing. So it's a continuous battle. Like it's bigger than just leaving the game. The game is it's a part of you. Period. No matter how you look at it. So it's just on the individual.
Can I add something to that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. When people get out of the dogs for whatever reason, some of them totally leave it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to hear about it. They don't want to have nothing to do. They won't tell anybody what they used to do.
Yeah.
Or what their career was. Nothing. Won't even say the word pit bull. I can't go that far. I could never do that. I enjoyed what I did. I loved it. I lived it. Right. So for me to be totally out of it, what I do now, that's what brings me peace. Because when you're in that quote unquote game, you have to have a certain mindset. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody can be that way. You have to have certain emotions at certain times and no emotions at other times because of what we did. And that's part of their problem. Whether they had to cull dogs or they lost dogs, right? That kind of stuff never bothered me because of the way I grew up. That had a lot to do with it. We culled everything. It's part of nature. It's part of my upbringing. It's part of the industry, whether you in whatever, horses, game fowl, livestock, agriculture. If you can't accept that, if you can't understand it and you can't deal with it, then back in the day, you shouldn't have been in it. And that's what happened to a lot of people. The average lifespan for guys involved with dogs back then was about 5 years. If you can make it past 5 years, you're probably going to stick with it. Some don't even make it that far. Some get out for what we would consider any little reason, right? I know one guy totally left the dogs, wouldn't talk about it, wouldn't converse with anybody about it, just because his favorite bitch lost. And he had a lot to do with why she lost. He didn't do her right and all that. That's part of it too. But done. Nothing. I couldn't do that. That would just, it's almost like you got to own up to it. Somebody's going to ask you questions about it. I have people, just regular people or family members, ask me about it, and I explain it to them. At the very least, they have an understanding about it. They might not agree with it. They might not like it. They might think it's cruel, but at least they understand the mindset and why we did what we did. And a lot of times I just compare it to boxing or MMA or football. It's the same shit. One thing the general public can't get in their head is they think we force the dogs or we make them do what they did. Furthest thing from the truth. That old saying, stubborn as a mule. A mule gets stubborn. He plants his ass end down. You can't hardly move him. If you're American Indian, you can get them to move, believe me. Same with horses. There's another old saying, a cowboy will ride a horse till it drops. Apache Indian will whip the shit out of that horse, get him up and ride him another 10 miles. Right? That's the extreme of it. But you can't make these dogs do what they do. You can't make any animal do what it don't want to do. That's kind of what, when I explain it that way, at least they have an understanding what I'm talking about and why a dog would do that they enjoy it, that's in their genetic makeup. That's their mentality. So I just wanted to add that to it.
Nah, man, that's a. I got nothing for y'all brothers on that one, man. I want y'all's opinion on it because sometimes I get diarrhea of the mouth on here, but I want to give a shout out to Imperial Flame Kennels, man. Brother Ray went ham last night, y'all. If y'all haven't seen it, go back and catch it on the live. And Schoolboy, I wanted to hit this up and kind of just give you your kudos on your last video too, because like I said, man, Ram, Schoolboy, when y'all do y'all's game dog talks and things, man, that stuff. Like I got my meal. I don't know if this camera is. Oh, you can't see it because I got my damn digital background up. But I got my meal right here, and I was listening to your video this morning, Schoolboy, and you were talking about the dog's tongue hanging out the side of his mouth and shit. And I was like, shit, I'm doing that right now.
Yeah,
But,
that's too much.
Well, the thing was, and this is why I'm glad you're on the live tonight, and for those of y'all in the chat as well. I try to work my dogs out in the morning before I go to work, so that when I get home, they're just kind of like leveling out, you know. And I give them a little bit of kibble in the morning, and then I feed raw in the afternoon. And but I was like, man, I got to cut this shit back. So I dialed it back, and we do a 2 to 3 mile walk. I get up about 4:45 every morning and do that. But as far as regrets, my regrets is that this social media stuff didn't exist, and I didn't have. I only had one mentor, and that mentor kept me from talking to a lot of dog men because of his opinion of the dog man. And one of the reasons why I like the samurai appeals to me is samurai were loyal to their masters at almost a fault. Now I don't have a master. I ain't no damn fucking slave or no shit like that. But like the samurai, they believed in their leadership, and it was to the point where if the leader said fucking, we lost, all of them would perform this thing called seppuku, where they would disembowel themselves. They would take their sword and cut across the belly, and to give them peace, the executioner would slice their head off. They felt like they dishonored their cause, right? And so I'm so loyal to those who I hold in high regard. The man, like I was in my damn feelings about that this morning, Schoolboy. Man, shit. J. Cole made that song. Yeah. I let Nas down.
Yeah.
And so,
well, it's a learning process, and it was called seppuku. When I was younger, they called it harakiri, right? Same thing. Yeah. It's what do you call it? Suicide, right? So an honorable way. And that's what I mean about going back to the time where how they lived, right? That's what people have a problem with. They couldn't understand how you do that. Why you call them master? Why you call them Lord? Those words had a different meaning. That lifestyle was different than we are today. So you can't look at it how, I ain't going to call nobody Lord. I ain't going to call nobody master now. But if I lived in that time, if I was lucky enough to be a samurai, I'd have a master. I'd have a shogun. I'd have a lord, whatever. That's just the way it was, So as far as like the dog you're talking about, and part of it, is the old timer's fault. I'll say that. Me being a so-called old timer, we say certain things, but we don't explain them. Something as simple, you got to work your dog hard, right? Yeah. Well, you tell that to somebody who don't know, they might kill their dog working them. Working them hard don't mean beating them up and blowing them up like that. And if people, maybe they don't have a mentor, right? Just Google or whatever, or if you have a chance to talk to professional athletes, ask them how they work out. Ask them how hard it is, how much they do, when do you back off, when do you continue, how do you increase the workouts, how long are your workouts? Bodybuilders, power lifters, a lot of them, they don't work out 2 hours. They do a hard ass workout for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
and you can get the same effect or maybe even better depending on how strenuous your workout is. And you're saving yourself some time, and it's less wear and tear on your body. Because the more you do, especially in a keep, the more things you do in a keep, the more shit that can go wrong. So if you're doing hand walking, road work, flirt pole, tug of war or spring pole and swimming and you're doing all this shit, the more that can happen that you can fuck your dog up. Keep it
Yeah,
simple.
man. Yeah.
Ram knows that, right? Ram, kiss, keep it simple, stupid. He's
Hell
mentioned that
yeah.
before himself.
Fuck yeah.
That's basically what I tell people.
Yes,
Work
sir.
hard don't mean kill them, and it don't mean that they're not getting the effects of a workout, because the increases are incremental anyways, and you don't have to be out there for 8 hours with your dog. That serves no purpose. Because imagine how much you got to feed them if you're giving them that much work, and how many calories are they burning, and how much of a chance do you have of screwing them up when you could do half the time or a quarter of that time and get the same positive effects out of it.
And everybody always asks all those, the questions that you just asked, but nobody really asks about recovery.
Yep. There's a lot of benefit to just resting them.
Yes,
It
sir.
ain't gonna hurt them, man. It does them a lot of good. That's when the muscles rebuild. That's when you'll notice sometimes you give them a rest day or 2 rest days, they ain't done shit, and you weigh them and they've lost a little bit of weight. Well, how does that happen? What's the effect of that? Again, I'm not a scientist, but I know it happens. You could probably
Yep, good
Google
old
it.
muscle repair kicked in.
You know what I'm saying? So, there's a lot to it, but the simpler you keep it, the better it is. If you were just take your dog out, exercise him regularly 3 or 4 days a week, don't do a lot. Maybe you do whatever you do and like that, they're going to be in pretty good shape. And the dogs are natural athletes anyways. And that's all I did. I could get 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, sometimes 2 hours off the chain if they ain't hurt that bad. How does that happen? And then somebody go work their dog and they blow hot in 30 minutes and can't even go much farther than that. There's a disconnect in their understanding the conditioning there. They'd be better off just take them off the chain, talk them back in the day. It better like that. Shit, I'll do better that way than working them because I fuck them up, So once you have that understanding, then you'll, okay, that's enough. Okay, that's enough. Okay, I'm going to give him another extra day. Okay, a little tear in their pad. Hell, he needs a rest. I'll wait for it to heal, a day or 2. Little bit much, And it's all, for me, it was all when I'm working the dog, I can tell today if I'm going to work him tomorrow. Or I can tell today I'm going to give him a rest. And it all has to do with their breathing, heart rate, recoup time on the fly, and recuperation, cooling down after the workout. What's the time of that? So that's why I tell people to write it all down. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. When you're conditioning a dog, when I was conditioning my dogs, they're going to come out in the beginning of the workout and they're going to hit a spot where they blow out or they have to catch their second wind. Time that. And when you're done with your workout, you cool them down, walk them out to cool them down. Time that. If you're doing it right, the more you progress into the key, in the beginning of that workout, it's going to take them longer to blow hot. And when you cool them down, it's going to take less time for them to cool down after the workout. That's how I measured, one of the ways I measured my condition. If I saw that happen, I'm good. If not, I better adjust.
And that's how I use my keep with the meal. It's just like what you said, just fucking checking the time it take from the blow hot, how long it take them to recover. And that's how I use the meal. I got real good at using it that way,
Yeah, that's a good point, because a lot of people, you think you have a meal and that's your workout. A lot of people didn't use it that way. They did it exactly the way Ram said. And what you're doing, let's say after a week or 2, when you put them on the meal, same thing. It takes them this long to blow hot, right? Week 3 or 4 or 5, whatever it is, it should take them longer to blow hot on the meal. It's just a tool to be used to measure where your conditioning is, where the dog is. It doesn't even have to be a daily thing, you know, if you're doing other stuff with them.
Yep.
So yeah, I know people that done that too. TDK has done that. That's the way he used the mill too, just to check his conditioning basically.
Yep. So I took that philosophy and motto, my whole keep around that, you know, like I could do a whole keep with one meal because I figured out how to adjust the tension on the slat and, you know, put a little incline on it so it acts as a slat meal now. But I still do, you know, weight pull and all of that stuff because that's good. You know, you need that part of your stamina. A lot of people, you know, focus that on the strength, but you get a lot of stamina too with, you know, that type of weight pull, and don't got to be a lot of heavy weights. I never went past the dog's chain weight, you know, even if I was doing them 10 pounds under his chain weight, I would never go past the chain weight.
Yeah, that's like building their core strength. You know, there's a guy on YouTube. He pretends to be a janitor. People have probably seen it, and then he goes in and lifts these big weights, you know.
Yep, going there and deadlift like 800 pounds.
Yeah, and he does it as a joke, you know, a prank or whatever. But he's a skinny guy. He's probably 5'8", 5'9", maybe he's taller, but he's skinny. He's got good muscle on him, but he ain't bulky. And he outlifts these big bulky guys, and that's because of how he does his workouts, his core strength. He's a strong dude. Real strong.
Yeah, I hate to fucking lock up with him. You get body slammed by a little skinny white dude. I never lived that down.
Yeah, you know, and part of it because that bulk is just extra weight.
Yep,
that's all it is.
Extra water, which takes extra oxygen, which means you're gonna blow hot.
Yep. So in conditioning dogs, I never wanted mine bulky like that. If they were bulky anyway, that's just their build. But I didn't build mass like that. It's a detriment. They can't even move properly if they're too bulky, much less go any distance, you know. So, you know, those are some tips. But the way Ram was saying, that's a very effective way of using your mill. And if you got, you know, say you're going to a weight pool or you're going to a confirmation show, you want to take a bunch of dogs, that's a good way to do it. Because you don't have to have them on the mill for hours and you know, you're just trading them off, you know, a little bit. You know,
3 dogs for a confirmation show on the mill like it ain't shit.
There you go.
That's easy.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, what I used to do though, since I used the mill, but we also had a big ass goddamn Jenny, so I would use the Jenny to check my dog's conditioning against the mill. That Jenny will let you know real quick if you in shape. You got about 2, maybe 3 laps before that heavy shit kick in, and that'll let you know where your endurance and stamina is at real fast.
Yeah, it's more of a natural workout too.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I love
the mill. The mill doesn't move. The bottom of the mill, the belt stays the same.
Exactly.
Whereas if you're in dirt or grass or sand or something like that, the ground gives when the dog digs into it.
Yep, it's inclines, declines, rocks, and sand.
All that.
Grass patches, all of that, man.
Yeah.
All of that plays.
And not only that, the dog, you know, if you're doing natural work like that, the dog has to keep focused straight ahead, and he has to consciously, without looking at his feet, keep his feet planted properly. Can't trip up. He can't fall down.
Yep.
So it teaches them to move. Teaches them to move, right, and stay balanced.
Yep.
Going backwards, forwards, whatever it is.
Jenny will snatch your dog up, and it look like he getting drugged by a car.
Yeah.
Hey, so I got a question that I was posed before you got on here, Schoolboy, but this I'm gonna start off with Ram on this one. So when I decided I want to get into dogs at all, right? My mentor, he said, why the hell would you want to get into these dogs after everything I done told you about these dogs? And I said, that's an easy question. Because you got them, you know. But but what I wanted to talk about, Ram, was what he meant was, and this is for anybody who is familiar with him or not familiar with him, was the sacrifices I was going to have to make to deal with these dogs. And so, Ram, I kind of wanted you to just share, you know, I mentioned earlier, vacations given up, certain areas you just can't really deal with them because this stuff is going to set your dogs off, man. But what did you see when you was heavy in it?
This shit is no different than joining a gang, man. It's a lot that come with it. You know, you gotta be real careful with who you fool with. You gotta be real careful with what you say and what you do. You gotta be real careful with where you live at. You gotta be mindful of your neighbors, you know. All of that come into play just like if you in a gang, man. So you just had to be careful, bro. That's all it was, man. Be careful was number one, and number two, right behind it, was be respectful. Respect to get you a long way in these dogs and in life. So I just always kept it respectful. Even though I could be an asshole, I'm a respectful asshole. I won't asshole you out if you don't asshole me first. You keep it cool, I keep it cool. You know, them was the two main things that I just based my life on. Just, you know, from dealing in the dogs. Just seeing you could hate a motherfucker guts. You know, hope he get hit by a car after you see him. But when we doing the dogs, we gonna keep it about the dogs. All that extra shit is out the window. The pit is the ultimate. So that was just the way I went about shit, bro. Just looked at it like that, cause I'm in a fucking gang, you know. You can't fuck around when you're in a gang. I'm in a big ass gang, got a lot of ops. So you gotta be real mindful of where you at and how you move, you know, cause you can turn them ops into your partners, just with respect, bro. It's the same way with the dogs, homie. It's just that easy. Respect, you can go far with it. Keep your mouth shut and mind your fucking business. Simple as that.
All right. Thank you, Ram. Schoolboy, Big A, either one of y'all got any input on that?
Nah, I mean, Ram pretty much summed it up.
I can add something. You know, whatever you love to do, you know, whether you call it a hobby, lifestyle, whatever it is, it's going to take time. It's going to take money. It's going to take effort. It's going to take sweat, blood, sweat, and tears. It's going to take, there's a lot of stuff to it. So what's the difference from what we used to do and an artist or a musician or a hunter or any hobby, race car driver? I don't care what it is. If you got family backing you up, then all the better. Sometimes you're alone. You ain't got nobody but yourself. So whatever you do, it's going to take time away. You ain't going to have no vacations like that. You can't leave and just up and go and do something because you have these other responsibilities. So that's kind of the way I looked at it. I wasn't doing nothing in my mind bad, you know. And like I said, anything you do is going to take time, money. I mean, name something. You know what I mean? Even if you look at it like a job, well, you job at least 8 hours a day if you're just a regular Joe. You know what I mean? Some people got to work like I did sometimes, something. I went for 5 years. All I did was dogs, and I hosted game fowl, you know, hack fights with the birds every 2 weeks. And then once a month, I had quarter horse races, the Mexican like quarter horse races. That's all I did for 5 years. So it's like anything else, you know. If it pays for yourself, you're golden. Some of it got to come out of your pocket. Well, that too. You might need good car
gotta come out your pocket. Don't complain, because Schoolboy just mentioned having to work, and it costs for you to go to work. You know. It costs gas.
Everything
it costs time. Yeah, it costs for you to go and make more money. So don't complain about that. If you really want to do this shit, it's a lot of sacrifice, man. You're not really gonna have a life. You're not gonna have no vacation time. That's out the window, because ain't nobody finna watch fucking 2 dogs, let alone 10 for you. Then do you trust a motherfucker enough to know where you stay at to come and feed the 10 dogs where you going? You know, what about that one crazy dog that might or might not bite a motherfucker? Did you tell the person to go do this? Just so much that come with it, bro. And like Schoolboy said, 5 years straight. If he'd have took that 5 years and went to college, he would have had a fucking bachelor's degree in something. That was his whole fucking life. Like, that's a lot of sacrifice to do that, and do that to support your family. Like, that's some fucking hard shit to do. You know, so you got to be real sure what you want to be, you know, who you want to be and what you want to be in these dogs, man, because This shit'll cur you out. You know, you can have bulldogs and be a cur. Schoolboy alluded to earlier, a dude lost with his best bitch. I done fucking had kennel partners who fucking lost dogs in kennel accidents and was done. Like, bro, we
Yeah.
just spent fucking $20,000 on dogs and equipment. What you mean I can have it all now? You out like that? Like, oh, I'm just gonna fuck with the bullies. They not as crazy. Like, nigga, no shit. I told you. Why the fuck
Yeah.
did you want to get in this in the first place? Like, you not a gangster, and these dogs is gangsters, man. You got to have a little bit of gangster in you to have these dogs, man, or they gonna cur you out.
Yeah. And then on top of that, like, I don't know, like, me personally, man, when I came home in 2007, and I've got plenty of people that's tried to give me dogs from that point in time until now, and I wouldn't take any dogs because I knew I didn't have the time to invest. Let alone I'm trying to get myself right. I'm trying to get focused. So, you know, just sitting down and really knowing what you're getting into. I know too many people that get the dog first and then worry about everything else next. You know, and that ain't, you know, to me that's not how it works. You know, you live in an apartment and you try to have 3, 4, 5 dogs. It don't work like that. You know, you doing more harm than you are good, you know, at the end of the day. So, you know, taking the time and really just thinking about, you know, how to do it correctly. Like I've had, like, just this year alone, I had like 4 people try to give me dogs, and I can't take it, you know. And you know, I've talked to Dre, like, Dre, I really want this dog, man, but I you know, I know I can't handle it at this point in time, you know. And the younger me would have taken it on every last one of those dogs, and I'd have been sitting there looking stupid at the end of the day, you know, juggling dogs around, you know. But yeah.
Yeah, man, that's that was so the sacrifices that I've been making specifically with my situation, because I'm forced to move a lot. You know, every 2 to 4 years, the military gonna pick me up and maybe you go here, you go there, and man, it's unless I'm buying where I'm at, 90% of the time I'm either paying double what I should be paying for rent, or I'm living, you know, in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like it's either really expensive or really dangerous to live with these dogs, man. And I don't think people understand that, man. You know, getting into the whole martial arts and weapons thing, guns, swords, all this stuff, man. It's not just by chance. You know, I'm comfortable, but I have a family now. When I first got into this stuff, I didn't have a family. You know, when I ate, my family was fed. You know, and then I bring a family into this life that I'm already into, and now I got to make smarter decisions, you know, or put them in a situation because of what I like to do, you know. And that's one of the things that people don't look at is, man, like my wife, you know, my son was exposed to his first yard accident at 13. You know, I was in Mississippi and he had to break up 2 grown ass dogs wrecking, you know, because I couldn't get there, and that wasn't even matching. That was just me not having them secure as I thought I had, you know, and so you sacrifice your child's innocence, because when Big A actually was the one that got to my house, not me. And my son went from a boy to a man and breaking up that fight, you know.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah. So what's some of the benefits of living that lifestyle? Apart from, you know, what we used to do or being a dog man and all that, you know, what you know, why have a pit bull? Why have any dog?
For me, it keep you on your toes, especially with pit bulls. You got to be a serious motherfucker, because anything can happen at any given moment. So you got to check the chains, make sure the kennels is secure, make sure they water is secure, make sure they can't get to each other if they is in the kennel or on the chain. There's a lot that you got to come with to do. Make you stand on your manhood shit. Like, that's the ultimate responsibility, is owning a pit bull. So I take pride in that. Cleaning up shit every day, getting the fucking scum out the water bucket every day, all that shit come with it. But as a man, that teach you responsibility. So if my yard clean, you goddamn right, my house clean. my house clean. You motherfucking right, my car is clean. Like just all of that shit come from for me, just being responsible with the pit bulls. Cause I'd be damned if a dog gonna live better than me, and my dogs live pretty goddamn good.
Can I jump on that one real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Because so I'm not gonna lie, being around the dogs themselves put me around the people I needed to be around. And I shit you not, the people who deal with these dogs, they go so hard. Like I believe in the law of averages, right? You're the average of the 5 people you associate with the most. And I'm telling you, in my work life, I started promoting when I got serious about the dogs. Because the same level of responsibility and consistency you have to have a dog that's worth a damn is the same level of responsibility and consistency you have to promote the military. Get up every morning before everybody else, outwork them, and if they work equal to you, have more heart than them. Straight like that. And it's taken me in the last 5 years since I really got back into this kennel thing, it has astronomically put me above my peers to the point where I'm in rooms speaking to people who they got so much rank I shouldn't be talking, but they want to know my opinion because I'm gonna say what needs to be said because everybody in the dog game does that. Well, the real ones in the dog game are a straight cut, straight deal.
You gotta be, cause you bullshit around and you be feeding a whole bunch of curves. You'd rather be feeding bulldogs, so you be real stern with how you view shit. And that just, for me, it's spilled over into how I live my life. I don't treat people like pit bulls, but if you show any fucking sign of some turning, me and you ain't gonna last too long.
Your background in the military, you learn responsibility, you learn discipline, you learn, all these different positive things, right? So your transition to the dog wasn't that hard. But like Ram said, it teaches you responsibility. It teaches you to mature, teaches you discipline, right? On top of that, if you have children, even if you don't have children, you have a companion. You raise your kids with dogs, especially pit bulls, in my opinion, it's going to make them better people. And if you're by yourself, right, ain't nobody going to attack you. Ain't nobody getting in your house. Ain't nobody going to mess with you. Just because most people are afraid of dogs and most people are afraid of pit bulls. And not all my dogs, but some of my dogs, they would protect to the level of the threat. So if it was minor threat, it's a minor protection. If it was a lot of aggression, and these are dogs that didn't bite nobody, but they love their family. They know their home. They know who lives there. If it was a heavy aggression, believe me, no problem attacking someone. And so there's a lot of benefits, not just pit bulls, but just by having a dog or dogs. I mentioned this before. We never locked our doors. We didn't worry about the kids, anything happened to them. If they were off in the fields or playing with a dog, ain't nobody going to kidnap them. And dogs will protect them with their life. Even if they had a gun, I guarantee you them dogs would go into that line of fire and get to that person before they died, unless they shot them square in the head. But most people flinch. Most people are scared. Even if they had a gun, that's the last thing out of their mind. They're thinking about protecting themselves and getting bit and all that stuff. So there's positives outside of what we used to do with them. And, in my case, I grew up with dogs anyways, and that's one of the reasons I still have to be around them, whether it's doing shows or visiting friends, or there's dog men come by every once in a while. Sometimes they'll bring a dog and let me pet it, and ask me about, how does it look and this and that, the behavior and all that. So like Big A was saying, there's periods too where you're not with the dogs anymore, or you get away from them. But if you're a dog man, you always come back to them in some form or fashion. It's just circumstances or whatever it is, where you can't have a dog or you can't be around them even, but they're always there. And if you have solid friends, I got some for over 40 years that are dog man. They're always around, you know. I could, you know, like he was saying too, you know, people offering, I get offered dogs all the time. Even if I tell them I don't have dogs, I can't have dogs, they still offer me dogs, you know. And I got friends. Anytime you want to pick up a dog, or just come and get them. You can get whatever you want, man. Just grab a dog, you know. So that's what I see as some of the positives away from the game that we used to do. And if they want to get involved in, you know, showing dogs and legal sports and all that, hunting or whatever, that's good too.
Yeah, hey, so Ram answered the question in the chat, and Schoolboy Big A, I want to put this out there for y'all too. Brother said, my pup is 8 weeks with food aggression. She's a pit. How can I change that? And Ram and I kind of commented on it in the chat, but Big A, I'm gonna let you kick this one off.
Okay, there's a few ways to go about doing it, but my most successful way with dealing with food aggression is take the food. You know, as soon as they show a sign of food aggression, take it. You know, I like starting young with pups when I can get them separated from everything else, especially the ones that are used to having a battle, you know, to get the food. So they've already got that on them. Especially if, you know, I would always take the food from them. There's been days where I've had a real aggressive dog and I took the food, they just not eating that day, you know, and eventually it came around. But that was just for me, and it took a little time, but that's just what I do.
Yeah, Schoolboy, you got any tips?
Yeah. I learned this was over 40 years ago. Maybe not, maybe 35 or something. You know, everybody know Vinny, right? Chinaman and all that.
Yep.
He had a dog named and this goes along with what Big A said. He had a dog named Pirate from Don Brote out of Rascal Jr. and I forget. So he was a brother to his Dottie bitch, and good dog, man. But he was that way. And all Vince did, like Big A said, he just took the food away from him. He did it for 3 days in a row. That dog didn't eat for 3 days. Yep. On the fourth day, the dog was good, right? Now, it may seem harsh to some people, but, I mean, you really want to get bit? Because even in the wild, with the wild animals, you know, if they're starving to death and you offer them food, most of the time they ain't going to attack you. They just ain't. They want the food. If you give them the food and they're real hungry, you would think it'd be the opposite. They're going to kill you and eat you. Nah, give them the food, they'll just leave you alone. You could do that with raccoons. You could do it with foxes. You could do it with coyotes. A lot of times they lose all that fear of humans because they're starving. And they come in, you give them something to eat, and they take off. And I've done that with the neighbor's dog. He was aggressive through the fence. Every time I go by the fence, he'd bark at me, this and that, hit the fence and all that, right? And all I did was take some hot dogs without the neighbor knowing, and then I would toss pieces over the fence when he barked. And I tossed pieces like that until he stopped doing it because he knew I was his buddy, right? Well, one day we were all standing out front, and the neighbor was coming out the door, and the dog rushed past him, and he's screaming, Richard, watch out, he bites, he's going to get you. I said, I didn't say nothing, but I just stood there. Dog came up to me, I petted him. He goes, how the hell you do that? I said, I don't know, maybe he likes me or whatever. I didn't tell him what I was doing, feeding his dog when he was aggressive through the fence. But food can have that kind of influence, you know? So it may sound harsh, but I would do like, hey, once, take the food away. He's going to get so hungry, he ain't going to growl at you no more, believe me. That or he's going to starve and he wasn't worth the shit anyways, you know?
Yep.
You know, a lot of trainers will say, you know, they want to redirect or they want to be passive with them or no, man. You know, there's easier ways to do it, and you got to think like an animal sometimes to do it. And having a firm hand sometimes, that's what it takes. It's not going to affect the dog, man. Pit bulls especially, you beat the shit out of them. Not that I did or have or nothing like that. You don't have to do that. But what I'm saying is you could beat the shit out of them. They still going to love you. They're just that way. You show them
Yeah.
some affection after you discipline them. They don't give a shit what you did to them. They love you. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's just that mindset. But unless you go through it, deal with it, do it, just like man biters. I can handle man biters. But if you don't know how, that you know, you're just speculating. Oh, I would do this and I would do that and
You
this
the
and
next
that.
man to get bit.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my 2 cents.
Yep, that's what I said. Do that, and if that don't work, take a page out of Bobby Willie Son Hall page. Go upside that motherfucker head. Then stop.
Nah, but for real, like one of the best forms of discipline that I've learned over the years, is the bond. When you build a real strong bond with the dog, and I mean a for real sincere bond. I'm not just talking about you feeding the dog and spending a little bit of time with the dog. I mean where y'all can, you know, look at each other and really, you know, exactly what's going on. When it came to disciplining them, the best form is separation. You know, because they want to be with you. They want to be right by your side. You know, they want to hang with you in the whole nine. And they do something, you know, outlandish or something that you really don't approve of. I would, you know, I put them up. They, you know, and that's the for me. I've gotten the best results like that. Like the one thing that I will mess a dog up behind is if it eat my food, because you know what I'm saying. We territorial about that. You know, I feed you. I don't mess with your food. Don't mess with mine. But other than that, like that's it. You know, separation. Yeah.
And a lot of that behavior can be stifled, like he was saying. You know, you start when they're pups. You know, if you start when they're pups, the discipline ain't gonna be that heavy. And you know, you should be able to stick your hand in their food bowl and all that stuff. And you know, you could stifle it when they're young. A lot of these dogs, when they're grown and they show these bad behaviors, is because nobody messed with them. Nobody did nothing with them. They didn't walk them. They didn't spend time with them. You know, they get territorial, all that stuff. So if you nip it in the bud when they're young, with most of them, you won't have any problem. There's some that are just that way. They're going to bite you for a certain reason, no matter what. It never changes. That's the way the dog is. Whatever it is, there's a glitch in their brain. But that's rare occasions, you know. And most dogs are not man eaters. They don't continue with the attack. They might nip you, they might bite you. But a man eater, a real man eater, attacks you like you're another dog, and they will try and kill you. They're rare. Even Zebo wasn't like that. Even other dogs, you know, Bully Son, they weren't that way. They didn't sustain their attack, you know.
I wish y'all could have seen my Malinois that I had, man. And this is another reason why I went back to pits. And Big A's heard this story before, but I gotta tell it. My wife, she's in the chat. She was watching when this occurred. But he was food aggressive. And so I fed him, and I had a puppy running loose in the yard, and he would snap on the puppy. So he started feeling himself. And so this is in Texas. I went over and I was gonna grab the food, you know, to break him, and he grabbed my hand. But as soon as he grabbed my hand, his ears went back. He realized he had grabbed the wrong thing. He grabbed me.
Yeah.
And, he knew he fucked up. And so so he takes off across the yard. And I'm so mad that I'm chasing this fucking dog around the backyard. And fucked around and I fucked around, flipped and busted my ass, you know, and my wife is just sitting there laughing because I'm chasing the
That
dog.
motherfucker hit you with the Barry Sanders, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll do that too. There's a lot of cases like that, you know. I've had that happen. They'll grab your hand and, oh shit, they know they got the right thing. Like if you know, tug of war or something, they come up too close to your hand, they'll nip your finger or something like that. They know what they're biting, and they feel bad about it afterward. They know they shouldn't have done it. They ain't really trying to bite you, it's just your hand's there. It's kind of in the way, you know. And you know, I can unfang a dog with my hands. People sometimes they trip out, you know. You don't need a defanger. Nah, I don't need no defanger. There's a way to do it. There's different ways to do it. And if you practice enough, you ain't going to get bit. Sometimes you can't do it with your finger. You need a defanger. You need something stronger. And in that case, I'll use one. For the most part, I can defang them quick too. I don't even have to separate them. You know, it's just everything is practice. Practice over and over, just like anything else. You want to play guitar, you got to practice hours a day, every day of the week, you know, or whatever it is. Same thing with the dogs. You want to weight pull them, practice it. Practice the event, start to finish. Do it over and over again. You get good at it. Your dog will get good at it too.
Yeah. That damn dog Saki, man, has no aim at all, man. I'll be messing with Saki. I'll be messing with Saki, man, and you can tell he going for what he going. He going for, you know, the target, but he might miss the target, and you hear that snap, and he coming, you know, and that might be you. You know.
Yeah. Couple of things with me too, and this is different from a lot of people. I didn't tease my dogs. And I don't let them grab my clothes. You know how people let them grab their shoes or anything like that. None of that. I didn't let them chase the kids. None of that. It's just different. So that's part of the reason why they never hurt them too. You know, from when they're puppies, man, I stifle it. I didn't let it. You know, we didn't let some people. You see them, they chew furniture and all that kind of shit. Shit, and you'll have my ass for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ain't gonna happen. So you better teach them not to do that. But I see them teasing dogs, and this is where we kind of have conflict sometimes. You know, I see them go outside of the fence and fuck with a dog, so it shows aggression. You don't have to do that. They'll do it on their own. Most of them. The one that don't have them by the fence to guard your house. You know what I mean? But teaching them what I consider bad behavior, nah, that's just me. Other people, they raise their dogs however they want. That's on them. That's their business, not mine. But there are just certain things I didn't let them do. You know, chasing kids and like that. You know, reacting to the high pitched screams of kids. You know, they better not react negatively. I'm gonna stifle it right there. So you know, they learn. You know, they're smart. You can teach them almost anything.
For sure. Hey, brothers. So I'm gonna shut this thing down so we can get in the back chat. Brother Vinny, I just sent you the link to kick it with us in the back chat. But for the rest of y'all, Schoolboy, Ram, Big A, make sure y'all make y'all plugs, and we're gonna get in the back chat and chop it up. Also, for those y'all who don't know, for certain levels of my memberships, at least once a month, you can get in the back chat with us and ask some more personal questions. You know, we're not gonna talk about nothing illegal, so don't think we're about to violate the Animal Rights Act. But for those of y'all who are paying and consistently coming in there, I think you should have a chance to have your question answered without everybody else hearing the answer to your question on a more private level. So Schoolboy, please plug your stuff. Ram, please plug your stuff. Big A, please plug your stuff.
Yeah, I have books and I'll just say merch. I have merch and I have a registry. We're on Patreon, me, Ram, Bach, and Rasta Man. If you want to join Patreon, Ram can help you with that. And get a hold of me on Richard Garcia on Facebook Messenger, or my email is richardjschoolboy60@gmail.com, or on Insta. My daughter says say Insta, not Instagram. Or I don't know. And that's about it. You know, I got a YouTube channel. I got a Facebook group, Schoolboy Lives 2. And, you know, if you want to get on, you can friend me or someone that's on there that you know, they can ask for you to be added, and I'll check that out and I can add you that way. But I appreciate it. Appreciate the chance to be on here and, you know, plug my stuff. So thanks for that.
Absolutely. Hey, Schoolboy, I wanted to also say, man, thank you for taking your daughter's advice on your channel too, man. And hey, y'all, Schoolboy has the cash app. He's very modest. Yeah. He's not gonna beg you for shit. And I don't.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We're all prideful.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man. So Support the channels. Also, when y'all cash app any of the channels, the money goes directly to the content creator. YouTube takes 30% of your super chats and any of your thanks you give us on YouTube. YouTube takes 30% of that. So the cash apps are always going to hold a little bit more weight. Brother Ram?
There you go.
Shit, man. Game Dog Talk, all one word on the gram, man. 7A Sports TV every Sunday when we ain't fucking around. Game Dog Talk live broadcast podcast, and of course Patreon. Game Dog Talk, man, that's where it goes down at around that bitch, you know, especially since YouTube be fucking hating. Yeah, it goes up over there. You feel me? Yeah, fuck with it. Shit, follow my page. I'm still trying to get 1,000. Shit, I be forgetting about that shit. Guess don't nobody want to get the live keep, so I'm holding it hostage still, motherfucker. Give me 1,000 and I'll show you how I did my keep. Other than that, I ain't showing you shit. Fuck with Schoolboy keep. His shit work like a motherfucker.
Yeah. I started, I never thought about this, but it just hit me. People, you know, they send me pictures, they work in their dog, put them through a keep, and they send me pictures, and I post them up there, and, you know, I get a lot of good responses. People like the way the dogs look. So, you know, they, you know, they'll follow it to a T too. I'll tell them, we can do it. No, I'm going to do exactly like you said, which that's the way it should be. Honestly, if you're going to do a keep, do it the way the person taught you, or your own keep, you develop one, do it to a T, how you developed it, and then see the results. And if you want to change something, you can do that, but practice it, work it till you get it right. And then later on, if you want to change something, you know, you can do that. Salute Mayhem. He's good people. Mayhem Kennel.
Yeah, I fuss with Mayhem, man.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Mayhem. Hey, Mayhem legit, bro. He's another one of those guys like Dickie that comes through all the chats. And
Dickie, yeah, Dickie too, man. That dude, man, he's all over the place. He supports everybody, supports me. I don't care what it is, man. He always message me or say thank you or something, man. He good people, man.
Hell yeah, and he don't be in none of the bullshit. So salute.
Exactly. Yep.
It's hard to be everywhere and not get caught up in the everywhere bullshit.
Yeah.
Big A, you gonna plug? If you don't plug, I'm gonna plug.
Yeah. You know, I really don't have anything working right now, but next year I'm definitely gonna be making a lot of action happen, you know, on my channel. But you know, if anybody wanted to reach out, Samurai Kennels, man, you know, make sure that you don't have to support by sending money. You can support by buying merchandise, you know, and hitting the like button, you know, and matter of fact, don't forget to hit the like button now if you haven't, you know. That's it, man. Shout out to the fan, you know, shout out to the family, shout out to the panel, man. Schoolboy Ram, man, big respect, man. Love y'all boys, man. The conversation is always dope, you know. Big shout out to the chat, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to the chat, man. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Hey, so once again, thank you all. Come out, support the Digital Dog Show. Each time we do it, we want to make it bigger and better than the last time, and that's only done with your support and your feedback. Additionally, for those of y'all who don't know, in the description of my videos in the future, for those of y'all who want to get a membership, the membership is a subtle way to make sure that every month, you know, you come through. It costs a subscription, but for my members, I try to do things for my members that are special to show them how much I appreciate them taking the time to spend a few bucks with me, right? Also, like Big A said, you can buy some merchandise in this and the third, but more than anything, man, make sure y'all share the video with people who you think can earn benefit from the video. More than spending money, more than likes, share the video because each one is very important. Every click through, every impression, every 1,000 likes equates to about $8 from a YouTube perspective. All right. So the goal is to just, if you want to help out for free, just share the video on your social media platforms. With that being said, we're gonna get out of here for the back chat, y'all. Be blessed, stay dangerous, and also scratch it to next week.
Peace.
Peace.
Deuces.